Poco and the Flatland Harmony Experiment. We thank Aaron Robinson and Elizabeth Merrill Hyde for that very kind introduction. Hey, Indianapolis, you ready for a political revolution? You're ready to end establishment politics and establishment economics? During the course of this campaign, we have won 17 primaries and caucuses. I have a feeling that tomorrow, with your help, we're going to make it number 18. This campaign began just about a year ago. And when we began, some of our opponents and some of the media said, you know, Bernie's a nice guy, he combs his hair really well.
Yeah, right.
GQ kind of guy. Not really. But he really can win. People don't agree with what he was saying. But that was a year ago. When we started, we were 60 points behind Hillary Clinton. In the last couple of weeks, we have been ahead of her in some measure.
Bernie! 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 Bernie!
It has been extraordinarily gratifying throughout this campaign, and that is in primary and caucus after primary and caucus, we have won with overwhelming numbers the votes of young people 45 years of age or younger. What does that mean? What it means is our ideas are the future of America. It means that our ideas are the future of the Democratic Party. Now, I want to just talk about, for a moment, a very local issue. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the workers from the United Steelworkers of America for giving me their support here in Indianapolis. And they have endorsed our campaign because they understand there is something wrong when you have a powerful, profitable corporation like United Technologies, which made more than $7 billion in profit last year. You have a profitable corporation saying, we're going to throw 2,100 workers in Indiana out on the street, move to Mexico, and pay people there $3 an hour. The greed of United Technology is almost unbelievable. They have no shame. This is a company that in 2014 provided its retired CEO with a severance package of $172 million. This is a corporation that today pays its current CEO $14 million a year. This is a company that has received $6 billion in defense contracts from the taxpayers of this country just last year. If elected President of the United States, United Technology is going to learn a lesson. And that is they are going to respect their workers and treat them as some disposable trash. But it is not just United Technology, it is corporations all over this country who have no moral standing. They treat working people, they treat our consumers as if we were nothing, and their only goal is to make as much profit as they possibly can. I was at the Vatican a couple of weeks ago to attend a conference on the need to create a moral economy. What a moral economy is an economy that treats the elderly and the children, the sick and the poor, and working people with dignity. It is not an economy based on greed and selfishness. Today in our country, we have more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth. If you can believe it, the top 0.1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. 20 wealthiest people in this country own more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million Americans. One family, the Walton family of Walmart, is worth $149 billion more than the bottom 40% of the American people.
Hashtag screw over Walmart 2016.
The reason that this campaign is going to win is because we're doing something very unusual in contemporary American politics. We're telling the truth. We are telling the truth about a corrupt campaign finance system which is undermining American democracy. This campaign is asking people to think outside of the box, outside of the status quo. Democracy is one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. Together we are going to overturn this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court. And together we are going to create a vibrant democracy. A democracy in which we have one of the highest rates of voter turnout, not one of the lowest rates. In which Republican governors will not suppress the vote. A democracy in which every person 18 years of age or older who is a citizen of this country will have the right to vote. End of discussion. Telling the truth about our economy, which is a rigged economy. It is not acceptable to me that we have seen in recent years a proliferation of millionaires and billionaires at the same time as we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth? It is not acceptable that we have families having billions of dollars in wealth, and yet you go to inner cities throughout America, you're seeing unemployment for young people of 30, 40, 50%. You're seeing childhood poverty levels of 35%. That is not acceptable. It is not acceptable to me that for the last 35 years, we have seen the great middle class of this country, once the envy of the entire world, slowly decline, while almost all new income and wealth goes to the top 1%. It's not acceptable to me nor to you that in Indiana and in Vermont we got families where mom is working crazy hours, dad's working crazy hours, the kids are working, and yet people are falling further and further behind. We are going to create together an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. In the United States of America, if you work 40 hours a week, you should not be living in poverty. We are going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And by the way, if I have anything to say about it, women will not continue making 79 cents on the dollar. Together, we are going to achieve pay equity for women, equal pay for equal work. Since 2001 in this country, we have lost some 60,000 factories and millions of good-paying jobs. It is not acceptable to me, and it's not just United Technology, corporation after corporation, shutting down America, looking for cheap labor all over the world. We are going to change our trade policies. If corporate America wants us to buy their products, they damn well better start manufacturing those products. I was in Flint, Michigan a couple of months ago, and what I saw in Flint, Michigan was beyond comprehension. It really was. To think that in the United States in the year 2016, children were being poisoned by drinking water with heavy amounts of lead. But it is not just Flint's, Michigan's infrastructure that is collapsing. That is taking place all over this country. Hundreds of communities, including communities in Vermont, are now worrying about the quality of water they are drinking. Our wastewater plants all over this country becoming obsolete. Our roads, our bridges, you got 2,000 bridges here in Indiana that need repair. All over this country, bridges are falling apart. We used to have the best, most modern rail system in the world. That's no longer the case. We need to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. And when we do that, we create 13 million good-paying jobs. I am running for President of the United States because by how many nuclear weapons it has. It is judged historically by how it treats the weakest and most vulnerable amongst us. Today in America, there are millions of senior citizens and disabled veterans and people with disabilities who are trying to get by on $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 a year Social Security. You know what? That's right, you can't get by on $10,000 a year. You can't pay for your medicine, your food, or to heat your home. Now in response, many of my Republican colleagues in the Senate, they want to cut Social Security. We are not going to cut Social Security. I've got bad news for them. We're going to raise Social Security. Because we are listening to young people. Young people are asking me, how does it happen that when they listen to their parents, to their teachers, they go out and get the best education they can, why do they find themselves $30,000, $50,000, $70,000 in debt? If you think about it for a second, that's nuts. We should be encouraging people to get an education, rewarding people. Not punishing people because they went out and did the right thing. Now, 50 years ago, here in Indiana, my state of Vermont, you had a high school degree. You were doing pretty good. You could likely go out into the economy and get a decent middle-class job. Well, you know what? The world has changed in 50 years. The economy has changed. Technology has changed. 50 years ago, it was great to talk about public education being first grade through 12th grade. Not anymore. Today, when we talk about public education, we must be talking about making public colleges and universities tuition free. Does anybody here think that is a radical idea? No! It's not. It is an idea that will happen sooner or later. Our job is to make it happen very soon. I want to tell you a little bit about that concept. Going beyond the fact that people who go to public colleges and universities will not be schooled in debt. What is revolutionary is that there are kids here in Indiana who grew up or growing up in families that don't have a lot of money. Their parents have never went to college. My parents never went to college. We never had a lot of money. But I want every kid in Indiana, in America, to know that if she or he studies hard, does well in school, takes school seriously, yes, they will be able to get a college education regardless. That will revolutionize education in America. And I want the millions of people today who are struggling with heavy student debt burdens to understand that together we are going to significantly reduce student debt. We will give every person in this country who has student debt the ability to refinance their loans at the lowest interest rates they can.
Yeah!
Rejecting status quo thinking is about. It is asking a simple question. How is it that we had enough money to bail out Wall Street pay for it. Let me tell you exactly how we're going to pay for it. This country, Congress, bailed out Wall Street when their greed and illegal behavior nearly destroyed our country. I believe that now is the time for a tax on Wall Street speculation. That tax will more than pay to make public colleges and universities tuition free and reduce student debt. This country bailed out Wall Street. Now it is Wall Street's time to help the middle class of this country. While we are on the subject of Wall Street, let me just say this. We bailed out Wall Street because presumably we had banks that were quote unquote too big to fail. That if they went under, they would take half the economy with them. Well, turns out that today, 3 out of the 4 largest banks are bigger today than they were when we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. In my view, when you have a handful of financial institutions with incredible power, incredible wealth, it is time to break them up. We need a financial system that works for small and medium-sized businesses, not a financial system that is an island unto itself, only concerned about their profits. Running for president because we have a broken criminal justice system. We have more people in jail than any other country on earth. That is not acceptable. Today we're spending $80 billion a year locking up 2.2 million Americans. If I am elected president, we are going to invest in jobs and education for our young people, not jails and incarceration. Departments all over this country. I have worked with police officers throughout my entire political life. Vast majority of them are honest, hardworking, doing a very difficult job. And they deserve our support. But like any other public official, if a police officer breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable. We have got to demilitarize local police departments. Police departments reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. That lethal force, the killing of somebody, is the last resort, not the first resort. We have got to end the so-called war on drugs. Over the last 30 years, millions of Americans have received police records for possession of marijuana. Under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, marijuana is listed as a Schedule 1 drug. We have introduced legislation to take marijuana out of the federal control. The people of the state, whether to legalize marijuana federal crime.
Yeah.
And when we talk about drugs, let's be clear. In my state, in your state, all over this country, we are facing an epidemic of opiate addiction and heroin addiction.
Yes.
This is a national crisis every day. People are dying from overdosing.
Yes.
To my mind, if we are to effectively address that crisis, we have got to understand that addiction and substance abuse is not a criminal issue, it is a health issue. In mental health treatment in this country. Senate offices all over this country. Senators are getting calls from people who say, I am worried about my husband, I'm worried about my son, I'm worried about my daughter. I'm worried what they may do to themselves, I'm worried what they may do to other people. But we cannot find affordable mental health treatment. That has got to change.
Yes.
Need treatment today, not 6 months from now. This campaign is listening to the American people and not just wealthy campaign contributors. I am so proud to tell you that we are the only campaign that does not have, does not want, will not have a super PAC. This campaign does not represent Wall Street or corporate America or the billionaire class. We in terms of campaign finance is extraordinary. We have received, up to this point in the campaign, over 7 million individual campaign contributions. More individual campaign contributions than any campaign in American history up to this point in a campaign. To paraphrase Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg, this is a campaign of the people, by the people, and for the people. We've chosen another path. She doesn't have one super PAC, she has several super PACs. In the last filing report, she reported $25 million for a super PAC from special interests, including $15 million from Wall Street. She has also given speeches on Wall Street for $225,000 a speech. I think if you give a speech for $225,000 for an hour's work or 20 minutes work, it must be an unbelievably brilliant speech. It must be a speech that can probably solve most of the problems facing this planet. It must be a speech written in Shakespearean prose. And I think Secretary Clinton should share that speech with all of us. Well, you know, I will do it if other candidates do it. All right? I'm here in Indianapolis tonight to make a very dramatic announcement. Are you all ready for a dramatic announcement? Tonight, I am prepared to release all of the transcripts of all of the speeches that I have have given on Wall Street. Are you ready? All right, here they come. No speeches, no transcripts. But you know, I've got my cell phone on. I'm forever hopeful, and I am waiting for that call from Wall Street. Now, I don't want $225,000 for a speech. I don't want $20. I don't want $2. But I do want to tell Wall Street that their greed and their illegal behavior under a Sanders administration is going to end. Another major difference between Secretary Clinton and myself has to do with foreign policy. In 2002, this country engaged in a major debate which has shaped the last several decades. And that debate was whether or not we go to war in Iraq. I listened to what President Bush and Cheney and all the rest had to say. I was in the House then. Secretary Clinton, then a senator from New York, also heard what they had to say. I voted against that war. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the African American community. They are asking me, how does it happen that we can spend trillions of dollars on a war we never should have gotten into, and yet apparently we don't have the money to rebuild inner cities throughout this country? We are going to change those national priorities. We are not going to have the men and women in the U.S. military get sucked into a never-ending, perpetual war in the Middle East. But we will build the schools and the housing and the infrastructure that inner cities throughout this country desperately need. Listening to our brothers and sisters in the Latino community. They remind us all that there are 11 million undocumented people in this country, and many of those people today are being exploited because they have no legal rights. And if you have no legal rights, an employer can do anything he wants to you. That is why I believe we need comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. This campaign is listening to a people whose pain is very rarely heard. Our brothers and sisters in the Native American community. We owe the Native American community far more than we can ever repay. Many other things, they have taught us a very profound lesson, and that is that as human beings, we are part of nature. We must exist with nature. And if we continue to destroy nature, we are destroying the human species. In reservations and in Native American communities, unemployment and poverty sky high, youth suicide rates off the charts. Together, we will change our relationship to the Native American community. Yes. Now, state. I've heard that. Looking at this turnout tonight, it doesn't surprise me. I know that Republican senators and congresspeople and governors all over this country go around saying climate change is a hoax. In fact, our friend Donald Trump came up with this brilliant observation. You know, Trump is a genius of everything. You didn't know this. He's also a brilliant scientist. And Trump has made the brilliant observation that not only is climate change a hoax, it's a hoax that originated in China. Now that really shocked me. I thought that he would have believed it was a hoax that came from Mexico or from the Muslim people. China, all right, I don't get it. But this is what I do get. I have talked to scientists all over our country and all over the world. And what they say loudly and clear, in almost a unanimous voice, climate change is real, it is caused by human activity, and it is already doing devastating harm to our planet. And they tell us that we have a short window of opportunity to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficient.
There we go.
Tonight I tell the Exxon Mobils of the world, and I tell the fossil fuel industry, your short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. We have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable for our kids and future generations. And as president, that is exactly what I do. And in that regard, Secretary Clinton and I have another difference of opinion. I believe the time is now for a tax on carbon. All right. See this? Forget the plastic bottle for a minute. What this is I hold clean drinking water because I've been drinking it for an hour. But all over this country, there are communities deeply worried about the future of clean water in those communities. In my view, at a time of a global crisis with regard to clean water, we have got to end fracking. That, by the way, is our Secretary Clinton's position. When we think outside of the box, we have got to ask ourselves why we are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child.
Yes!
Affordable Care Act has done some good things, but we have got to go further. And I'm here to tell you that I believe that health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. We will have a Medicare for all health care program, scholarship health care. Brothers and sisters, all of you know the profound lesson of American history, which is that real change never ever takes place from the top on down, always from the bottom on up. Workers standing up and fighting for dignity by the millions and forming the trade union movement which helped create the American middle class. It is the civil rights movement where millions of African Americans and their allies said, "We will end racism and bigotry in America." It is the history of the women's movement, where women said, "Sorry, the establishment will not define our role in society. Will not tell us that our only function is to stay home and have babies." 100 years ago, women in this country did not have the right to vote, did not have the right to get the education or the jobs they wanted. But they stood up with their male allies and said loudly and clearly, in America, women will not be second-class citizens. And struggle is the history of the gay movement in this country. For decade after decade, gay community and their straight allies said that in America, people should have the right to love whoever they want, regardless of although that struggle is not over. All of these struggles continue. But the point is that when people by the millions stand up and fight back, that is when real change takes place. History right now. I have been all over this country from Maine to California, and people are standing up and they're looking around them and they're saying, we can do better as a nation. It is not acceptable as they look around them to see grotesque levels of income and wealth inequality. It is not acceptable for them to see the middle class of this country continuing to decline with people working longer hours for low wages. Not acceptable to see women making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. Not acceptable that our infrastructure is falling apart. Not acceptable that we are the only major nation on earth not to guarantee paid family and medical leave or health care for all. Not acceptable that millions of young people have left and are leaving college deeply in debt. Not acceptable that we are not leading the world in transforming our energy system and in combating climate change. What this campaign is about is understanding that the establishment, the big money interests, corporate media, all the rest, want you to believe that real change is impossible. Oh no, for some strange reason, we cannot join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all people. We just can't do it. Oh, for some strange reason, we cannot demand that the wealthy and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes. We can't do that. Oh, we cannot end the embarrassment of having the highest rate of children in poverty of any major country. We can't do that. What this campaign is about is understanding that yes, we can do all of that and more. What this campaign is about is understanding that when millions of people stand up from coast to coast and demand a government that represents all of us and not the 1%, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. class people and young people are prepared to come out and vote, are prepared to stand up and fight back to create a government that belongs to all of us, when that happens, we win elections. Let us see Indiana have the largest voter turnout in their history. Help lead this country into the political revolution. Thank you.